Do you want to learn how to stack iron farms in Minecraft 1.21? In this video, I'll break down the mechanics of iron village stacking and show you how to apply it to any iron, raid, or villager farm. By the end, you'll have the knowledge to enhance your existing farms without needing step-by-step tutorials. I'm your host, Miner Mends, and let's get into this awesome tutorial. If we want to be able to utilize village stacking, we have to know how it works. Stacking works by placing multiple villagers in a close proximity so that each can independently trigger their own goal. This ultimately increases the number of golems produced within an area of where the player is. Since villages naturally require 128 blocks of distancing, this mechanic is incredibly useful for multiplying the amount of iron farms that can be near a player. Okay, so let's think about this from an unnatural perspective. Over here on the left, I have village 1, and over here on the right, I have village 2. Now, the only problem with these two villages is if I were to do something on the right, it would apply to the left as well. To show you what I mean, I'm gonna grab a bell and I'm gonna place it on this block. As soon as I place that bell, you can see the green particles connect from the village on the right. That is a problem because I don't want that village to even be a part of this village on the left, which is why stacking our villages is very important. Another way that we can tell that both of these villages are indeed linked together is simply by breaking a bell. In Minecraft Bedrock, when you break a bell, the village leader will get angry. Not physically, but emotionally. So when I break the bell, you should be able to see that on the right-hand side, a charge happens. That is the villager leader. I'll do it one more time. If I break the bell, right over there, that happens again. So now with all of that aside, let me go to an actual stacked village and show you the difference. Both of these villages are independent of each other, even though they are close together. If I place the bell back, on the left you will see green particles, but on the right you will see that they're not even affected. Now if I keep that bell there and I do the same thing on the right, let me break this. As you can see, there is a village leader and nothing got impacted over there. If I place the bell again, the green particles are on the right and they're not impacting the left. Now that you have the context, I can get into the meat and beans and you can do this in your own world. Okay, so let's say I want to go crazy and build a third iron farm right next to the two I already have. Probably overkill, but why not? Before I can do the magical village stacking method, I need to notate two things. So let me pull my mic back and let's explain. Okay, so imagine this is our first iron farm. I can either A, build my iron farm above it, or B, I can build another one right next to it. If I decide to build it right next to it, like the two you see in front, they need to be at least 16 blocks apart. But what if you decided, well, I want to put my iron farm right on top of the other one? The only problem with that, if you just put them right on top of each other, the radiuses would collide, even with doing this method. So your iron farms should be at least 6 blocks vertically away from each other. Personally, I think the best setup is to build 4. So you have 2 in front and then 2 behind each other. I'm not really fond of stacking them because then I need ladders, and in Minecraft, I honestly hate having to go up anywhere. I like to be able to just walk around or stand in the middle of all 4 farms. So the choice is ultimately yours. And if I'm going too quick, just understand I put all of this information in the wiki, which is linked in the description. All right, we got a lot of information out of the way, so a majority of this tutorial is going to go a lot quicker now. For the third one, I'm going to be using my iron trade hall. So as I said earlier, I want to be building my third farm right in front of the other one. So what I did is I went to the corner of my build and I counted 16 blocks. So from that edge to over here, this whole thing is 16 blocks long. Just for clarification, this line itself is 16 blocks long, so in between in total it's 16 blocks, but the actual distance from farm to farm would be 18 blocks. Now whether you are stacking your second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth farm, it is important you do not have any composters, beds, or villagers nearby these other ones just yet. But what I want you to do is have your villagers at least 150 blocks away from all these farms and put them somewhere safe. I also want you to have all your composters and beds in your inventory or in a chest somewhere safe. Do not place them down until I tell you. This could mess up your stacking entirely, and if you're stacking a third farm, it could even mess up the second one you already stacked, setting you back to square one, which is why it's important you didn't skip through this video and you were paying attention to what I just said. So stop falling asleep, wake up. I'm just kidding. All right, looking at our build now, I have the third one complete and is directly behind that one in front, like I said I was going to do. And if we count these blocks from the left to the right, that red in the middle is 16 blocks. And if we go inside the farm, I don't have any of my workstations and I have no villagers or bed placed. Actually, I need to replace some of that dirt, but everything is good to go. So you will now have that iron farm outline and it will be empty-ish because you don't have your composters, your beds, your villagers, you don't have anything inside of it. That's completely fine, but we are now going to go to the opposite side of it. So this is my entrance. I'm gonna go right behind it. Now there is a reason why I am behind the farm and I am not on the left. That would change the 100 block radius and it may interfere with the farm over there. So it would be in my best interest to be right over here and as far away from those other farms as possible to avoid any confliction. But yeah, just go on the edge and go at least 100 blocks away. So since I'm in creative, I can just teleport myself myself 100 blocks away, so that's what I'm going to do. So right there, I am 100 blocks away. I'm going to mark that 100th block, and I'm just kind of going to draw a line just so I know where it is. And then I want to be a little bit behind it, and then this is where we're going to begin our villager stacking method. For the villager stacking method to work, I would recommend you do it while it's nighttime and preferably in peaceful, or make a tunnel around. That way mobs can't get in, or just, spam torches everywhere. You should be good with that. But you'll see why it's important for it to be nighttime. It's going to help a lot. We want to have at least 2 villagers, and we want to have 2 beds placed down. If it's nighttime, your villagers are going to go right to their beds, and you don't got to worry about your villagers running all over the place because they'll just go right into their beds. This is going to be your last warning before you start this villager stacking method. Absolutely do not have any extra composters or any extra beds in the other iron farms. So if I go inside my iron farm, all of the composters are being satisfied by the villagers. There's no extras laying around, and I have the same amount of beds as the amount of villagers I have. So 20 villagers means 20 workstations, 20 beds. If you have an extra bed laying around or an extra, composter laying around, this entire process is going to break. So just saying, you were warned. I'm just trying to save your time. We are now going to break the second bed that we placed. So I'm going to break that bed on the right, and then I'm going to place it in front of the line just a little bit closer, and you're going to see this step by step. This is going to be insanely easy, and you'll pretty much understand the process in a second. We got that second bed placed. We will break that first bed, and imagine this is like a game of Leapfrog. Oh, where are you going? We're going to place that bed again in front, and then that villager should come back. It might like pathfind its way away from it, but eventually it will link and come back. But once again, I break the bed behind it, and I just basically do this leapfrog effect. I would not recommend going like more than this distance. That would be 2 blocks. You might be able to get away with, going 3, 4, maybe 5. This process is probably going to take quite some time, especially because we're traveling over 100 blocks and we're shimming one by one. And it just takes a little bit of time. But once this process is done, once you get to the edge of that build, and I'm talking about like right here on the edge of your build, you just want to get those 2 villagers using this method to the edge. And once you do, come back to the video. All right, that only took me around 5 minutes. It could probably be faster, but I was a little slow. Due to the way my iron farm is built, I can't place beds on path blocks, so I kind of have to butcher my path blocks, and not path blocks, sorry, dirt paths, and I kind of have to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break that second bed again. I'm going to place that first one. We're going to get them just a little bit closer because we obviously need to get them inside of our farm. So come on, go in there, and then we'll put this one right here. All right, so now they're in a pretty close proximity, so I'm going to just bust this entire thing down. I would recommend when we're moving them from this point on, we go in small intervals, and you want your beds relatively somewhere in the center of your build. For mine, it works great right here. I'm going to set everything to daytime so they get out of their beds, and I need to get these guys inside of their pods. If your iron farm allows your villagers to free roam, I'm not sure if those farms are even good to begin with, but if that's the farm you're working with, you don't have to do this next step because, you don't have a pod, so you don't got to deal with that. So I'm going to place a composter real quick. I'm going to hope one of them links to it. Yep, there we go. And we just got to get you in there. So the easiest way I would presume is just to push you in, and there we go. I think I got you. Perfect. And then once that's in, we just have to get the second one in, and then I'll show you what to do afterwards. So we'll get that second one in. We now basically got to do this step by step. So one more time, if your farm is like mine where you isolate each villager in its own pod, you're going to do it my way. If your villagers free roam inside of an area, yours is going to be a lot easier. You'll have to bring them in one by one preferably. If you bring all of them at once, it could cause problems per my testing. All right, that was my last villager. All of them are linked and they all have their beds. We are good to go. So now if I come over here and... Whoa, it was already spawned. We're good to go. Okay, so that iron golem is there. We're getting cats. Fun fact, if you don't want cats to spawn in your build, and there's a second iron golem, if you don't want cats to spawn in your build, tame 5 of them nearby. We got 2 there, and we got 1 there, and then, yep, I'm barely within render distance right there, but we got 2 there. So yeah, all these iron farms are right next to each other, and they're all generating iron golems. So that is villager stacking, guys. It's pretty simple. And like I said, you are welcome to stack them on top of each other. Just watch the video and make sure you follow the correct information. That's everything I have for you guys in today's video. If you guys are a little confused on anything, jot it down in the comment section. I'll try to reply to you. Join the Discord server to become a part of an everlasting many community. And videos like this are tedious and they take a lot of time out of my day to make. So it'd mean the world to me if you could subscribe and leave a like. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, bye-bye.
I don't listen to the haters, man, I treat them like the enemy. had a couple traitors, man, but now they know the penalty. I tell